Money Matters on FOSS 107 with Hinckley Rugby Building Society.
Today we're going to be talking about the cost of living. And it's a toughie, this one, isn't it? Yeah.
It is tough, and especially this morning, Mark, when the latest inflation figures have been announced and they're higher than anticipated. It's up at 11.1%.
So what does that mean to the everyday man in the street like me?
Well, it means that basket of goods that inflation is measured against is getting more expensive. And some of the staple items are the ones that are getting more expensive. Milk, eggs, butter, and bread. You know, those are right up at the top of the items that are getting more expensive.
And that's a massive worry, isn't it? Because that's affecting every single person, especially the lower income brackets. And it's a worrying time. But not only that, so because inflation has come out higher than expected, then the Bank of England are watching that, aren't they?
Bank of England are watching it. So that is the Bank of England's main brief, to keep inflation down, and down at 2%. So we're a million miles away from that at the moment. So the Bank of England's main tool to keep inflation down is interest rates.
Right.
And therefore we've been on that path for some months now of interest rates rising gradually, but then last month 0.75% increase. So the Monetary Policy Committee that makes these decisions, they meet again the middle of December. And yes, unfortunately, the latest stats they will have is that inflation has risen faster than expected. So you could put two and two together and come out with the answer that interest rates will go up in December, but may actually go up by more than was anticipated. This will continue until the Bank of England feel as if they've got on top of inflation and it's starting to curve back down again. And that looks as if it's going to be at some point in 2023.
Big day tomorrow. Chancellor of the Exchequer, Jeremy Hunt, is his autumn statement. One or two things are expected. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, it's reported that there's at least a 50 million black hole in the UK's finances. And there's been many reasons cited why that's the case. So how do you fill a financial black hole? Well, you either raise more money in income, or in essence you cut the expenditure. So I think that's why in the press it's being trailed that there will be some tax rises that will bring increased income for the government, and there will be some reduced spending on public services, and that will cut some of the costs. So putting the two together, they will hope to address the black hole. But actually the most important thing they're trying to address tomorrow is confidence.
Right.
That they have a plan that is credible and that they're planning to do something. That's when the local but mainly international investors look across at us and say, yeah, they're serious, they're credible, and they're not just going to let this whole thing run away from them. That is the most important thing tomorrow.
Because if we do spend more than we can afford to as a country, then we have to pay more interest to sort of balance the books, so to speak.
That's it. So if you're investing, if you're an overseas investor and you're investing in the UK and you think they're higher risk than you really want, you're asking for a higher interest rate.
Right.
And we're not talking about low numbers of borrowing, billions and billions of borrowing. Any slight change in an interest rate has a material effect.
Right. I mean, some good news. I mean, it looks like pensions and benefits are going to be increased. That's what they're thinking, aren't they?
Well,
I mean, that's what I've heard. I mean, down the pub, to be honest with you. But you probably know more than I do.
Oh, I wouldn't like to second guess anything at the moment, but
right.
that again has been trailed. The government saying that they will put the support in place for the people who most need it. Now, we could have a long debate about who most needs the support, but hopefully that means that the people who financially need that support most are going to get it.
And so they should, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Money Matters on FOSS 107 with Hinckley Rugby Building Society.